Welcome to my weekly Meltdowns coverage of Survivor 45. I don't know, what episode are we on? I don't even know.
Episode 8. I had to fix the title because you put episode 9.
I did a quantum leap. I left into the future. Welcome as we cover Survivor. Hello, Kylan in the chat. Hello, everyone. Yes, we didn't go live after the show last night because we don't have to. We do what we want.
We own our own lives.
We do what we want, and sometimes we do stuff and we don't know what we did, and we end up in Facebook jail.
Yeah, so we have a lot on the agenda tonight, but I do want to start with Allison's jail time here. She sent us pictures from the jail cell. So this was
me. I was in jail so long. I was a mentor. Yes. How bad is it if you're coming to me for advice?
Just how to survive jail.
How to survive jail, prison.
Oh, God.
Pretty much. It's bad. It's a slow week in the Facebook world. If you are digging through my shit, find stuff. If you got to nitpick Allison S. Kelly and put her in jail, I've never been in social media jail. I've been on Facebook since 2006 or 7-ish. I don't know. Never have I been.
I guarantee you have not been on Facebook that long because it was only for college students in 2006 and 2007.
And how'd you have been around in 2007? Because I posted my 30th birthday.
So 2008.
Too fucking long. Okay, let's just call it what it is. Grandma, I'm the only one in this group, so I forget he does anything on Facebook. Okay, that's the point. The point is, I don't care about Facebook. It's what I got accused of, which I don't even want to say on the show. We're not even going to go there because
she was accused of being too damn hot.
Exactly, and I don't need the FBI,
apparently,
CSI, NCIS, whatever, investigating me.
Apparently, that's a crime on Facebook nowadays. You're too damn hot, and therefore, people just are like, "Oh, no one can see you for a while."
I mean,
right? The jealousy was real.
The jealousy, for sure.
Why weren't they trolling me during the height of my alcoholism? I tell you what, man, I should be a lifer in jail. I shouldn't even be allowed on social media. The night the McDonald's story, I posted some pictures of that. I posted pictures with pool stick. I did a lot of things. Okay, a lot.
I'm gonna need you to clarify the pool sticks portion. What?
Okay, here's the thing. I'm 4'11". Okay, I'm a little woman. And
this isn't helping.
Time I freaking go somewhere where people are shooting pool. There are people around that think I don't notice them behind me, seeing if I'm taller than their pool stick.
That is absolutely not at all what you implied with saying the night of the pool sticks. And then you were like, I'm a short woman. And I'm like, this sounds like you're trying to see if you can be a little stick puppet. Okay.
I'm so terrified to even say what's in my mind because I don't want to get blocked on this. That is what happened. I'm being controlled by an outside force.
I think if anyone's going to get us in jail on YouTube, it's me.
Probably. I don't know.
It's the three of us together. Let's be real.
True.
But this week has been so bizarre. We had to shift the My Weekly Meltdown group chat, not the super secret chat, but the My Weekly Meltdown group chat to get this to text message.
Yes, I started it.
I have never sent so many like radioactive poop green text messages. Because Allison doesn't have an iPhone, and this is her intervention right now. I had no way to respond to her messages by typing on a computer, so I have been roughing it this week by going boop, 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 on my phone.
Can you not talk text on an iPhone? On an iPhone.
I don't really talk text. I feel like that's an Allison.
That is an Allison exclusive. Yeah. The best part about it is that you'll sit there and be like, all right, so half of the words don't make sense, but you know what I mean.
And we're so used to it that like we can like Beth and I can understand what she's saying without even having
talk to text.
Yes, exactly.
It's fine. It's totally fine. But listen, here's the best part. The best part, and I wish we had a screenshot to show of this. The best part of me being in Facebook jail for 3 days, whatever. My daughter-in-law Zoe posted it on my page, on my wall. Tyler posted it on my wall. Nobody liked it. Nobody asked me. Nothing.
I'm not gonna lie, it never showed up in my algorithm.
You could hear a mouse fart, a cricket, everything. Now, people who know me texted me directly, and then there were people that continued to send me shit on Facebook, and I'm like, I'm still in jail. My friend Matt's like, what did you do, Allison? I'm like, I am terrified to even say it in a text message because I don't need the Federal Bureau of Investigations coming in my ceiling like snipers and ninjas and taking me away handcuffs.
We don't need the FBI or Chris Hansen. Okay.
I don't need Chris Hansen or any of those. I have been living a Dateline.
I'm Chris Hansen from Dateline
episode for like 4 days. It's terrible.
Oh God.
Oh Lord. Well, Allison, I'm so glad that you are out of Facebook jail. It has been a quiet week on the internet. I'm not gonna lie.
Let me add one more thing.
Of course.
Y'all have been in messenger heaven without me diddling around at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning on one of my little early morning runs. Listen, you guys are like, I don't start at 4 when I really am awake. But my husband is like, everybody's trying to make light of this. My son made a comment, well, God, I didn't get you when you were back in your drunk days, Mom. And Chris is like, maybe you should stop posting nudes of our kitten. And I'm like, his little hairy nuts have offended somebody?
I think the question on everyone's mind here, and I know you've said this to Tyler and myself, but I think it's important to put on the podcast. Are you planning to get fake balls for JoJo when he gets the snip?
Okay, here's the thing. I am not doing the nudicles again.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not doing that. At 6 months, he will get neutered. No, I kind of don't want to get him fixed. I kind of want I want to breed him with the, and have a little, but then I'm like, no, I'm done with the nudicles. I really feel like that's what's made Finley a raging lunatic.
I'm going to tell you right here and right now.
Yeah.
There are a shit ton of black cats in this world. You don't need to breed.
Yeah.
You could go get another cute little black ball of fur and it'd be cute.
Well, I mean, he's got a cute little pair of nuts. I might ask to keep them and put them on my keychain.
Okay, I am now officially with that statement joining Team Tyler. I'm Team Tyler here. That is far too fucking much, Allison.
They're so cute, though.
I've never looked at an animal's nuts and been like, so cute.
I look at these balls and I go, oh, they're going to get cut off in 4 months.
Okay. Guys,
he can't see him. Never mind.
You have no idea what you just opened is a little can of worms here. I was having a little existential crisis today, mental breakdown, and I had my my sister-in-law come over, and we were talking through things. And as I was getting really into like the existential point of my breakdown, my dear friend Nigel, calls me, and he doesn't call me ever. And so I answered the phone and I go, are you okay? And he goes, I really need to talk to you right now. And I go, okay. I'm sitting here with Vika. Is it okay if she hears? And he's like, actually, I need her to weigh in on this too. And I was like, okay. And like, I'm like nervous. And he goes, do you know someone in your life who would want to buy earrings made out of cum?
Holy shit. Hold on a second. What? What?
I said, what in the fresh hell are you talking about? Apparently, there's a woman who has an Etsy shop who takes sperm that is sent to her grinds it into a powder, puts some kind of liquid into a molding thing, clay, so that it's nice and has the cum sheen to it, and then makes teddy bear, like gummy bear, like little earrings out of it, and she calls them cummy bears.
Oh no, that is so nasty.
And I have to tell you, I stopped crying and I stopped having an existential crisis because of that. And now we've been talking about little cat balls, and I'm telling you, that has messed me up.
Earrings. Can she make the? Am I not in my mic?
No. You're not.
I've been talking this entire time. We've been on air for 11 minutes.
We can hear you fine.
We can hear you. It just sounds a little muffled.
It sounds like you're across the room. You're not. It's not that mic.
Yeah.
But you're fine.
And Samuel, we'll get to Survivor. Don't worry.
That?
No, not at all.
Is that not happening?
No.
She's trying to get her earrings made.
While Allison adjusts her mic, do you guys want me to open this?
Yes. So this is
from you both?
Thing.
Or
it is.
Okay.
This is the next thing. So as you all who would have watched last week's finale episode of Big Brother please cover that. We don't want another giving away Rennie's phone number. Tyler is a freshly engaged man, and it was also his birthday this past weekend, and so lots of things coming up Tyler in the ways that we love him. So this is a little gift. I will say all of the credit goes to Allison for this.
Okay.
So I say
also
that.
I just have to say before I forget and we get rolling on Survivor, while I'm opening this, I ran into Jack Antonoff today in Brooklyn, like right before I shot a proposal. He produces all of Taylor Swift, Lana Del Rey, Lorde, a very, very well-known music producer, Grammy award-winning. I've seen him in concert 3 times. He owns the band Bleachers.
That's so cool.
I freaked out, and I got a selfie with him.
I saw the picture, and I was like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I said I don't know who that is, and I don't even know why I'm bothering talking in this because you can't even. What do I even? Can you hear me? Can you?
I think you just need to go to settings, Allison.
Like
go to your settings and go to audio, and then make sure your mic is coming from your microphone, not your computer. So you guys made me a little photo book. This is so sweet. I love.
Shit. Hold on, I want to see this. Wait, I want to see the front.
It's when Tyler popped the question.
Oh.
This is great, you guys. I love this. Oh my god, this is cute. I wanted to get a photo book made of these pictures, so I'm so happy that you guys did this for me. Thank you.
They're not pixelated.
No.
Oh.
For those listening to the podcast, the audio only, definitely go look at the YouTube video for this. But this is so cute, you guys. Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course. Oh my gosh.
Sora was there too.
And her kimono.
I hope I'm going to be ugly crying.
Like our wedding.
Yeah.
We have our first venue tour on the 30th.
I do also, just to bring a little info from the secret chat that Tyler and I have. Tyler and I were talking about all these like little things for his wedding. And he goes, you and Allison would be invited in Group A, but this is after we talked about maybe coming to my apartment to take photos. And he was like, could you imagine if I didn't invite you, but I used your apartment?
No, I would never do that. Oh, and it says Tyler and Tim on the side too.
Yeah, with their engagement date.
Allison, this is so cute. And Beth, thank you so much for this as well. You guys are so sweet. I love you guys so much. I wanted to do a photo book for this, so thank you for crossing this off my list. It is literally perfect. I can't wait to show Timmy this when he gets home.
Oh,
thank you. Okay, so before we get into the episode proper, Allison just, I think she's trying to like reconnect.
Oh, okay.
while Allison is doing that, she's probably like restarting her computer. Beth, so how was your week? Did you do anything cool, special? Anything you had to sign an NDA for? That you can now talk about? Question mark.
So I got Starbucks this week. So that was kind of cool. But no, I'm just kidding. So on Tuesday, I had an incredibly unique experience where I was invited on behalf of RHAP who was invited directly by CBS, Paramount, and Survivor to go to a live viewing of last night's episode of Survivor, but see it on Tuesday. So we got to see it a day in advance. And all we were told is that you're going to see a viewing. There will be giveaways and prizes, and there will be like a little reception. So we showed up at the Paramount building in Times Square, and we were also given kind of like a list of things to wear / not wear to this event.
What was on the do not wear list?
Okay, I'm going to just read you because it was amazing. I won't lie. Those of us who were from RHAP got a little giggle out of it because we were like, oh, this definitely came from someone older.
Yeah.
who wrote this. So hold on just 1 second as I pull it up. But we had really no idea what we would be doing. So when you hear giveaways and prizes, when I hear prizes, I'm thinking competitions. And one of the things they did say was no open-toed shoes. So I was like, they're going to make us run around or something. But they did tell us, you have to sign an NDA saying that you weren't going to spoil the episode. I think there's a couple other things that I don't feel comfortable sharing live.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think the NDA covers. But I'm going to be safe about it anyway, not share that online.
Of course. Yeah.
And we also had to, in the same document, it was, you will be filmed and have pictures taken of you while you're watching the episode and throughout the event. You may be pulled aside for a confessional interview. To my knowledge, I don't think any of us from RHAP were pulled aside and interviewed. So that our images could be used for social media and other promotional use moving forward for the show or for events. So we got this invitation. So first of all, shout out to Rob Sesternino, who got the invitation and was given so many tickets and asked a lot of us here in New York City and the surrounding area if we would like to go. And he was told, invite your podcasters and that kind of thing. And so thank you so much to Rob and to Sam Moore for thinking of me and inviting me. And this was like absolutely thrilling for me.
Yeah.
I was really excited. So thank you to them. So we were given, this is the dress code. It says, since you will be filmed, please wear hip upscale attire like you're attending a nice restaurant. We love that. Please only wear solid colors without logos of any kind on the front or the back. No t-shirts, sweatshirts, white tops, shorts, hats, or open-toed shoes. If you wear jeans, please make sure they're colored and without holes. So that was what we were told. And then we were not allowed to have our devices on us while the episode aired. Technically, they were on us, but they gave us these little bags that when you close them, they needed a magnet to be opened, which we didn't have. So we had to go to a staff member afterwards to open up the bag so we could take it.
Oh, interesting.
So the only people who were excluded for that were press people who were invited.
So like your phone. What? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Yep.
Am I on the microphone?
Oh, actually.
Nope, you're not through the microphone, but we hear you fine. Your quality is fine.
I don't care anymore. I missed the whole fucking thing. God. So what happened? You went to the.
She's teeing it off.
I'm just starting it, so you're not really. Yeah. You didn't miss anything.
You're good.
All you missed me saying was thank you to Rob and Sam, and so we went to a pre-screening, and there was like a reception beforehand, and there was like a little dessert thing afterwards. That's all you missed. So our phones had to go into like a little pocket thing that locked when you closed it. And then we couldn't unlock it without a staff member like cracking it open essentially for us with a magnet. And so before it started, there was like a little reception. There was some pizza. I kept making the same joke over and over, which was, I wonder if this is the pizza from Ponderosa that they serve at their reunion. And we were like, good one, Beth. So we walked around. There were a few different like other podcasters that I know of who were there, which was kind of cool. Not from RHAP. There were some Survivor alums. So Jam, Bryce and Wendell, Eliza, Josh Canfield from not Kage San Juan del Sur, and Dean, and
I saw that. I saw that Dean was there.
And Natalie Anderson. Ooh. So
he was good.
I fought the urge. You'll be happy to know I did not go up to him and go, by the way, my friend Tyler thinks you're the hottest guy ever. Yeah, he's actually engaged now. And I see that you're here with a girl that you are just constantly with and not really talking with anybody else. And so I just want to let you know. No, just kidding. So people were just kind of chatting around a little bit. There was just like little food stuff beforehand. And then they said, please come on over. And so we were sitting next to like this like little amphitheater. Area.
Was it this episode that we watched last night?
Yeah, so I saw it Tuesday instead of last night.
Okay.
So on Tuesday, we got to go and we sat down in this like little amphitheater thing, and they were like, "Okay, there's like 75 of you here, blah 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 blah," and they had Rob actually introduced, and he was like, "Okay, guys, like please no spoilers. Like it's the worst thing you can do is do a spoiler. That's what we've got here. Blah blah." That's my Rob impression. I don't know if you guys like it. So then he surprises us with what we had some of us here in the RHAP group, and by some of us, I mean specifically Sam Moore, was like, I think Jeff Probst is going to be there. Number one, he's on Jimmy Fallon in New York City the same day. So he has to have filmed that in New York City. Why would they do a viewing party and not have him there? But secondly, like, why not have the host of a viewing part be there for the viewing part? So we were like sitting there like, I wonder if Jeff's
also with Kelly and Mark too.
Yeah, the next day. Yeah. So he introduces Jeff, and Jeff comes out, and we're like freaking out. It was so cool. So Jeff comes out, and he said, all right, so because you guys are all Survivor fans, and because all of you are people who support the show, we thought we'd give you guys like a little giveaway. And so they had the same like little tray things that have like the little like from the auction that have like the little like things, and they had 4 of those, and they all had these wonderful official Survivor 45 buffs on them. And but they were all kind of folded up into like a little thing with twine. And they said, everybody take one of those. And there's one for everybody. And then they said, okay, 8 of them have a note inside, like on like the Survivor parchment or whatever. And if you have a note, come on up here to the front because you're going to be competing for something. Now, I am not going to say what the something is because I'm fairly confident that is part of the NDA. Okay.
Yes.
So I am not going to say what it is, but 8 people got up there. None of us were RHAP people. Sad. But next to me was Maggie Morgan from RHAP. And on the other side of her was a girl who was not with RHAP. And that person was chosen. So we were one buff away from somebody from RHAP, which would have been Maggie. Or if Maggie had picked it over, maybe me, I don't know, would have been chosen to go up and do this. And essentially they ran a rock, paper, scissors tournament where the winners got something. And all the contestants, if they lost, they got like these official Survivor baseball cap that Jeff wears in all the episodes that have like the logo, and it's like the mesh here on the sides, and it's white cap with like a little black or blue
that would have been
thing.
cool.
So they all got one of those caps, which was cool. And then after that, which was great, Jeff looks up and goes, Sesternino, what did you think about that? Did you like that segment? Rob goes, little long, Jeff. It ran a little. And so that was funny. And so he's like, yeah, we ran a little long. Okay. So we're taking notes. What do you think? What do you think would have made it better? Well, I think that maybe instead of best 2 out of 3, you just do a rock like one time. Whoever wins. Oh, okay. I like that. So they're kind of riffing a little bit back. So Jeff then goes, happy to take some questions. And we had joked in the RHAP group about somebody asking the Bowie Jane question. And then because we were like, well, if Jeff's there, someone's got to ask him. We were like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then the reality set in that like we can actually ask Jeff a question, and all of us were like, don't do it, nobody fucking do it, he's not gonna know it.
Oh my god, I totally would have done it.
So I raised my hand because I wanted to do it, but I was gonna do it this way. This was the question I was gonna ask. Jeff, as you know, the game has changed dramatically in the new era. You've made some changes from themes to, changing it to 26 days. There's a lot more advantages. And I feel like the game has evolved from being about the location and the culture where you're at to themes about the tribe. And now it's about like outwitting production almost in a sense and outwitting each other with the advantages and such. How would you say the game has changed? I'm going to say for the better since you joined the advantage getting and whatever. And I was just going to say it like that. I wasn't going to do with Matt and I wasn't going to do that, but I was going to say like the advantage getting or something like that. And admittedly, everybody afterwards was like, okay, I think we would have done that. That would have been fine. Everyone would have had who knew would have had a good chuckle, but it still would have been a serious question. Brian Cohen was the one that brought it up in the chat. So we all whipped our heads over to Brian and Jeff goes, what's that? Does that guy have a question right there? And we're all like, oh, fuck it. Don't you fucking dare, Brian. Don't you dare. And so Brian's like, yeah, I had a question. And he's looking at all of us and we're like, don't fucking do it.
Why? Why not?
Because it hits you when Jeff's in front of you that like, and he wants to talk about like, what are your questions about Survivor, that we want to be serious.
Yeah, I guess so.
And like, we also were like, we want to be invited to do this again. And if we're just like making a joke out of it, like, what does that say? What does that say for Rob? Like all this other stuff, right? So we're sitting there. And so he's like, I'm having a hard time remembering. So the seasons bleed into each other because I don't necessarily have like a name or a theme that goes with them. I just have a number. Like I would say, like, are you going to bring back like named seasons? And Jeff had a really good response where he was like, listen, quite frankly, we don't have enough good themes anymore to rely on that. And
that's an honest answer. Like, I'm glad that he said that.
Jeff was so transparent and was like, I'm going to be honest with you. If you could come up with 3 good themes, I'll give you a job right here on the spot. And Brian's like, okay, how about old era versus new era? And he goes, oh, that's great. That's one. And Eliza's in the background like, I can do 26 days, no problem, Jeff. And so like, it was so funny. So we're sitting
what if Eliza was like, Beth, I heard what you said on my weekly meltdown 2 weeks ago. I heard you talking shit. Remember?
Well, that would have been funny. I would have loved that. So Eliza and Josh were sitting behind me, right behind me. And I actually got to turn around to Josh, who I saw in Natasha Pierre in The Great Comet of 1812 on Broadway. So for those that don't remember Josh is a Broadway actor. He was on the second Blood versus Water with Reed. Reed was his partner. And Josh is an incredible Broadway performer. And I had the ability to see him. He was an understudy for one of the main roles in the show. And he was he stepped in that day and I got to see him in the role. And I turned around and I said, I saw that show twice. I saw it first with you, so you will always be my Anatole, and you were incredible. I saw it a second time, and no shade to who I'm sure is a friend of yours. I genuinely mean this, not because you were just sitting here in front of me. Like, you knocked him out of the park as an understudy, and I truly, truly mean that. I've seen a lot of shows. I've seen a lot of understudies on. You were the best I've ever seen. And Eliza's like, that's right. That's right. And like hitting him. He's like, that means so much. Thank you so much. And I was like, absolutely. And he was, what was your name? I was like, Beth. And we shook hands. It was so nice. So he was incredibly nice and whatever. But they're sitting right behind me and they're like, we do that, Jeff. Like, you throw us back out there in the jungle. We're like, cool. So then he answers a few other questions. And so like one of the questions somebody asked him was, during last week's vote, 2 weeks ago's vote, did you know that Caleb was safe before you opened the parchment? And he goes, yeah, I found out right beforehand. And they go, how do you adjust? Like, how do you keep it like a poker face with that? And because it was, we were all thinking it. Allison. But he said, honestly, there have been so many times. He goes, the most infamous time was I knew that Suri was going to get advantaged out.
Oh, God.
he goes, and it's hard because you sit there with your own emotions. Like, we all love Sarit. That was the last thing any of us wanted, those kind of things. He goes, but you also have to play within the rules of the game that you have also put together. And so sometimes a lot of that has to do with, I'm dealing with my own, like, oh my God, this is incredible. Like the fan, the person who enjoys the show, but I'm also the host, and I'm also trying to build suspense from a TV standpoint. He goes, so honestly, what I have to do is rely on the cast and the cast reactions and turn that point out where I'm experiencing this with them, but I have to remember that's not about me in the moment. It's about them. And so I thought that was a really cool answer to hear, like, I'm freaking out on the inside, but I'm trying real hard to not showcase that. So I really enjoyed that. And so he spoke for a little bit, and then he left before the episode aired. And then we watched the episode, no commercials, of course. And so that was fun. And
90 minutes long.
It was like an hour and 5 minutes or so when you take out the commercials, right? So we watched the episode, and then Rob gets back up. Hey, everybody, what'd you guys think? Woo, we're all great. He goes like, well, we have a special guest with us, Kelly. And then Kelly walks in. Freshly,
she lives in New York.
She lives in New York.
Yeah.
And she was not allowed to watch the episode. So she had no idea what was on the episode or what made it or what didn't. So she's like, I'm coming into this a little like blind. I really don't know what was shown, what wasn't. So some of the questions that she was asked, to her, it was really shocking that the All Women's Alliance was a big thing in the episode. She was like, none of us thought that was a real thing. It was said in passing, and we had no faith in it. It was nothing. And so they built this up to be like a huge thing. And so she was like, did the Women's Alliance thing make it? We're like, yeah. And they were like, and then we were going on, and Rob kept asking follow-up questions like, well, what do you think like people would be upset if they found out that like Emily told? She was like, no, it wasn't like a real thing. And so she was like, this must have been a real thing in the episode. So that was interesting. She did let something slip that I think is safe to say. So I'm just going to say it because I'm pretty sure she said something similar with Mike Bloom's interview earlier today, that her plan had been with Bruce to tell him that there was a knowledge is power, because she knew that he had the idol, and he had told her in private, I'm really nervous that somebody went to one of those islands that got a knowledge is power. And so she was like, my plan had been the vote prior to say, I know somebody has a knowledge is power, but had to find the right person. And so she was struggling coming up with who the person should be. But she was so secure, even knowing that she could potentially get votes, that she didn't decide to do it because he won immunity. So she wanted to wait until there was a week where he could potentially like use the idol. And so her idea had been to kind of steal the idol from Bruce a little bit by telling him knowledge is power, give me the idol. But then she was going to like keep the idol and use it for herself. So had she known she was actually that big of a threat, and that Drew and Austin and the other Reba members were going to flip on her, she would have done that. She also admitted that her and Dee were actually really close on the island. And so she tried really hard to deflect Dee's name. And then I think that's part of the reason why she felt so shocked that Dee and all of them voted for her, is because she thought that Dee probably had the same amount of loyalty.
Yeah.
The last thing that she said, which was interesting, is she said that, which is why when it was so hard when Emily and I drew rocks for the food. So apparently she and Emily put in the same exact amount of money at the auction and had to draw rocks to see who got the food. And Emily
interesting.
Won. Okay.
So that was all cool. And then she hung out with people for the rest of the show, but we were done, and then we had dessert, and it was a lot of fun. And then those of us from RGP and Rob and such went out to a bar and had a couple drinks, and I got home at like 1:30 in the morning and was very tired but excited the next day. And I got this buff. So, cool. So I can now say, Jeff told me.
Can you show us the buff? Like, can you take it off and
what does it look like?
Yeah. So this is the Survivor 45 buff.
Is that the one they have?
Yes, it is. This is the one that they have. This is an official buff from the university, from Survivor, and it's the same pattern and everything on the back or whatever.
What's it made out of?
It's like a stretchy.
Yeah, it's a stretchy kind of like cloth kind of thing. It feels like a handkerchief, but like stretchier.
Okay.
But we all were given the buffs, and they were like, put them on for the episode. So we all wore the buffs. I had mine around my neck, and it was fun. But
that's so cool. Well,
so
that's so cool that you got to experience that.
I don't know why people wear them like
and...
this. Could you imagine? I'm sitting back and I'm like, I feel like I should be cleaning.
Yeah, that's.
I like it.
I don't think that's the look.
I tried to get. I don't know if anybody saw this on the RHAP like New York City live thing from like a month or almost 2 months ago, but Rob put a buff on just like the women do and like Brando did or whatever. And I turned to Rob and I was like, "Are you gonna put this one on? I'm here." And he was like, "I don't think so." I was like, "Could you imagine? They would zoom right in on him." But
well,
so
very
really
cool, very cool. So I guess like, should we start transitioning to talking about the episode proper? Because
totally.
I made this meme. Is this a good episode of Modern Survivor? Because that's how I felt about this episode, you guys. Like, we got the return of the auction. We got an amazing tribal council. Kelly, I just have to say, God bless you, my dear. Thank you so much for giving us good, salty, bitter exit on the way out in the year of the good Lord 2023. It never happened.
Ask everybody on the way out, did you do this? You did this. You did this.
I loved it.
She wanted to know who voted for her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it so much. And I wish more people would be fucking pissed on the way out the door like that, because that is your shot at $1 million and winning Survivor gone. I don't want this big old hug fest. I want reactions exactly like Kelly's. So Kelly, thank you for giving us good TV.
Also, shout out to Kelly, who when she's brought out, she literally just went, I just have one thing to say. What the hell, guys? It was so cute. And then I saw that she tweeted the same thing, which was good.
She looked at Austin dead in the eyes and was like, was that you? And he was like, yeah.
I know. It was like,
it was very Michaela and Jay from Millennials versus Gen X for sure.
For sure. Yeah. Loved it.
Except for I would say that Michaela was actually salty. I think Kelly was shocked and hurt, and that's what I think was great. I didn't see her as like salty. I saw her as like, what the hell? Like, what?
Right. And yeah, I know. Like, some like rando on Twitter was arguing with me about the semantics of like, I think I used the word bitter. Like, that's not what I mean. Like, I just mean like a good, like
a good genuine reaction. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what we love to see.
You
like,
all just came out of nowhere and ruined my chances for $1 million while I've been like eating nothing, living in the middle of the like wilderness. Like, what? Like, I would absolutely want you all to know, first of all, we all know that if I'm ever on Survivor, I'm very likely a quit, which is why I'm never actually going on Survivor. Number two, which means that my torch won't be snuffed. So just put that out there. Number two, if someone votes me out of a Survivor game, it's a little different with Big Brother. Big Brother, I'm spilling secrets as I go out the door. I'm just putting that out there. I will blow up the house in my speech before they vote and as I walk out the door, because I don't give any fucks. That's what I'm doing. In Survivor, I'm going to be like, I think the fuck not, everybody. Y'all voting me when this bitch is here, when this bitch is here, and I would be TV gold just for that one moment.
And that's what we need. That's what we all would be better off with, you know, as good TV. So, but Allison, like, what did you think about the return of the auction? Give me your thoughts.
Okay, so here's my I was happy to see it, but I didn't really feel like it was the same thing. There wasn't, to me, not enough disgusting crap. They needed more disgusting crap. And the fish eyes that came out of Jaw's head, I just really could have done without. I had to stop for a minute because who's the dude that ate it?
Austin
Austin goes out there and he bites it. It
sounded like an apple, by the way.
It looked like a candied fruit or something.
It
like
did.
That's what I thought it was before Jeff said it was a fisheye.
I said, I'm going to take a bath and get this off me and then continue because ill. But I don't know. I couldn't get into it. Nobody's. I'm keeping the money
here's
and running.
The thing. Behind me, both Josh and Eliza go, actually, fisheyes are like really good. And they were saying that shit. And I was like, I don't want to hear that. No offense.
I would not.
And I understand it's like a delicacy or something in a different country or
whatever.
whatever.
And I'm not crapping on it. Yeah,
none of us are. None of us are for sure. But no. I will tell you that I don't know what's worse, watching it with the commercial break in between. But I knew it was going to come back and you were going to see even more disgusting shit after the commercial break, or seeing it all at one time and it just didn't stop. And I was like, stop! I don't want to see the skin of the eyeball. And then afterward, it was bad. It was awful.
It was like oozing.
I know what Sora's doing.
She wants that squeaky toy.
She wants the squeaky toy. And Aunt Allison said no.
Yeah. Sorry, girl. I'm sorry.
When I'm watching the auction and they're doing the food, I'm sorry, my mind goes in other places. It's not strategy. It's not game. My mind goes to the mother in me comes out and I'm like, you're starving, you haven't eaten, and you're eating a chocolate cake. Oh, you're getting a milkshake. I think a chocolate milkshake would be the last thing that I would want on an empty stomach. I would be spraying the walls with shit. I am that lactose intolerant. My asshole would be a salad shooting hose.
Maggie and I sat next to each other, and the entire time she was like, oh, I wouldn't drink the wine. It would mess me up.
Oh, God, I'd be so
I wouldn't
drunk.
drink the margarita. It would mess me. And I just looked at her and I went, you know what? I know you're right. I wouldn't care. I would be so like, I go an afternoon without eating and game over. I'm drinking the marg.
Yeah, but they're giving them stuff that's got so much sodium in it on an empty stomach.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a slug. If I ate the pizza, I would just be useless. Well, I'm already going to be useless on Survivor. We don't want to carb me up. Okay.
Well, the worst thing is all these people online are like, man, the portions were so small. I'm like, you want them to have more of that shit to run through them? Like, this was actually pretty good portions for what they're giving them. Like the milkshake was small. That was not a large milkshake. But you don't need a large milkshake because that kind of stuff it doesn't matter what kind of reward it is. People go and eat peanut butter jelly sandwiches and they get so sick. It doesn't matter what you eat or drink. You're not used to eating. You overdo it. Your body's like in shock. All of a sudden it has nutrients and it's like, what?
You have to do.
You have to shit.
We all saw what happened to Joe Del Campo on Survivor go wrong, like things can get a little backed up and then all of a sudden you get medevaced because you literally can't shit. So it's fine that the portions are small. And honestly, if I were D, I would have paid $900 for that chocolate milkshake too. That and the ketchup and fries. And, oh my God. I would have bet on the ketchup, fries and soda. Like that.
Oh, that was what I wanted.
Absolutely.
That's what I wanted.
I was watching Survivor.
I want to know, where's the baked tarantulas? Okay, where's the crazy shit? Where's the goat nuts that they got to drink? I mean, where is this stuff?
So we asked a little bit. So Jeff went into this a little bit before. He was like, there's going to be some twists with what you're seeing or whatever. And he goes, I want to give you a little bit of the thought process beforehand. Okay. He goes, the reason why we took away the auction is first it got old, people betting $500 for like a slice of pizza. We thought, oh, wow, that's really funny. And then it kind of became old hat. Or people were buying things and it was gross food and people were generally just getting sick of it. And like it got to a point where like nobody was betting on food that was covered because they didn't want to do it. So then we had to come up with, all right, now we're going to throw in advantages. And sometimes advantages might be covered and those kind of things. But then the smart players realize I'm just holding on to my money and I'm just going to put it all on that. And he goes, and that made it boring. So what we wanted to do here was do a few different things, not give everybody the same amount of money. So they have to run around the jungle and find money for themselves. I loved that twist. People are inherently at different amounts. That's great. Where it got ruined a little bit was the idea that if you had the highest amount at the end, that you lost your vote. What would have actually happened, and I saw Shannon say this online, Shannon Gates, and I totally agree. If you have if you're saying that the person who has their money, the most amount of money at the last one, when you don't know when the auction is going to end, loses their vote, you then actually need to have an advantage of some sort in there. So it balances it out, right? Because everyone started off like, oh, haha, Bruce is so smart. And Scally and I looked at each other and went, Bruce is screwed because everybody else is just going to throw it in. He's not going to be able to compete. Yeah. And then he's going to end up with the most. And ta-da, that's exactly what happened. So if they do this again, then the players are going to know, I do need to hustle and get all those dollars, that they keep it exactly the same, which I don't think is inherently bad. You had one person who was like, blah, 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 and not doing anything. So if you're not going to do anything, don't even get money. Just don't do it. Okay.
Yeah. Bruce deserved the spot that he found himself in.
1,000%. And then he won immunity. It didn't fucking matter at the end of the day because it, like, at the very least, he's like winning an immunity. So who cares if he has a vote or not? Yeah. But yeah, it's just, so that's the one thing I agree with. But I think a lot of it for him was like, people were over they're eating all the gross shit. But I think that all of us were sitting here being like, you could throw a couple more things in there. But I think because they don't have food rewards like they used to, they wanted this to be like, you're getting a little bit of food more so than usual kind of thing.
I think
I really loved it. Like I really enjoyed the return of the auction. I think it works better in the 90 minutes because then you can like really take your time with it. I actually liked that there was no advantages because it was just character moment. You know what I mean? Like Emily getting that charcuterie board was like every white girl at like cocktail hour for like weddings.
Like, it was like the worst attempt of a twerk of all time, and it was amazing. It was so good.
I loved it so much.
It was so cute.
Let's see what else. I mean, the Kendra like getting that, like drinking that beer and like reminding it of her like dad, and like us getting like that backstory too. Like it just it gave us a lot of like cool like character moments that had nothing to do with advantages. Nothing, like they weren't like trying to like break the auction in any type of way. I loved it. I think like maybe the mechanism for getting the currency, I think could probably be a little less physical, and maybe I'm just scarred from like Jag winning all these competitions like back to back to back to back to back to back. So I'm like let's do less sprinting, and Survivor usually does a pretty good job at like having these challenges be pretty balanced. You know, we saw the two oldest people at the immunity challenge like as the final too.
Yeah.
Like it was just a lot of like running back and forth that like no matter, like Julie can't sprint the same amount that like Austin can. You know what I mean? Like
also, Drew was the only one who was going to see the thing that they jokingly were like, Bruce walked under it. And I'm like, well, Drew's like 7 feet tall. Of course he's going to see it. It's at eye level. Like,
right. So, Allison, do you think you would have seen it?
Seen what?
The one in like the tree,
the bamboo
really
tube of money.
Oh no, I was
thinking about Allison right next to Drew.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna be like Bruce. I'm like, I'm freaking getting pummeled because everybody's running and you're getting knocked over and shit for the, you know. And I probably wouldn't even have found $80. I probably be like Jeff, and I swear to God, if Jeff had said shit to me about it, I would have been like, dude, I was digging as deep as I could. Don't give me any shit.
That was, you know, something that Jeff said when he came out. He goes, what you don't see is that these guys come for me a lot on the show. We edit all of that out. He goes, if things are going well for them, I'm their best friend. If things are going bad for them, I'm the root of all problems. And I'm like, well, you are the executive producer and the host. So
you literally are the root of the problems.
Yeah. So like, it was funny because you heard Jam in the front being like, we love you, Jeff. And then he looks over and he goes, I can't remember what he said, but then Bryce went, like that. And then he goes, see, like, Bryce has an issue with me. And Bryce said, don't put those words in my mouth, Jeffrey. And it was so funny. Anyway.
Well, Jeff, just like, I wouldn't be disrespectful or rude to Jeff, but if I'm trying to do something and win a challenge and he keeps yelling at me, I'm like, dude, shut up! It's been 23 years. Why don't you get in this fucking mud and pull this shit and giant balls and get in here and get in some honey and your pants falling down and you're sweating, you haven't eaten shit, and you're trying to do puzzles? Shut up. I'll dig something out for you. Dig this.
Like, how much can I buy with this?
I found this, Jeff. One of each for you. Say something.
So, Jeff, depending on what's underneath this thing that I just bought for $500, you are also going to win something. And he's going to be like, oh, what's that? Well, we're going to wait and see, aren't we? Because this one has something and this one has something. And just like that one has something and that one has something, we're going to see what's up. So it's a positive thing. Thank you. It's a negative thing.
Mystery items. I've got 2 mystery items. You can either keep this one or trade it for this one. And I'll reveal whichever one that you choose at the end of that.
Could you imagine? It turned it into, what was it? Was it Sari that was like, I got one for Matt, one for Jag, and one for Bowie?
God, you know what? I just want to say I forced myself to watch Kelly fucking Ripa and Mark on the live show. And because I wanted to see Jeff, because I just can't anymore. Everybody knows I despise the Kelly fucking Ripa. That's what I call her. That's her name. Okay? I don't care. So she's interviewing Jeff, and Jeff did bring up, from now on, if you quit, your torch will no longer be snuffed. Duh. Great decision. I'm glad finally. And Kelly fucking Ripa has never seen an episode of Survivor, because she sits there and she goes, well, Jeff, what would make you quit Survivor? What is the hardest thing on Survivor that would make you want to quit? I'm like, bitch, just call it Survivor. You're surviving. What do you think, bitch? I had to sit there and listen to this woman talk about how, I had, last year when it was ungodly cold in New York City, I had to take I had to walk to the restaurant in the cold, and I couldn't take the limo because of all the construction, and it was so cold. Bitch, you live in New York. You gotta walk someplace.
I love it.
Shut up. God, I hate you. Get off the show. I could tell you done. I'm waiting for your husband to take his shoe off and backhand you with it. I'm just waiting.
Figuratively.
But yes. Jeff was really good on the show. On Kelly fucking Ripa.
Okay, one thing that I don't understand though, like Jeff saying, like, from now on, like, we're not even gonna snuff the torches of quitters, and I'm like, isn't that the point of Survivor though? Is that you don't want your torch snuffed? Like,
well, I think
that's the goal.
That's the goal, but I also think like it's also a symbolic ending of your game by the hands of. But I think that's what he means, is like he's not going to like snuff it. He's not going to have the tribe has spoken moment when you're quitting. Instead, he's going to bye.
He needs a dumpster right over to the side.
You know what he should do? He should go over and just like kick it onto the stones and have it go off like while it floats.
He needs to put it in that woodchucker that's at the end of that Halloween movie. He throws it in there and says, "Evil dies tonight."
The Halloween 2. Just
die tonight.
If you freaking quit Survivor and I'm Jeff Probst, I'm like, don't touch that torch. Get your ass out of here. Don't even stop and talk to me. Get out. I don't care what your reason, life-changing moment. Jesus came and told you to sleep to leave. No. Get out. Leave. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Don't touch that torch. Don't touch it. I'm telling you, don't touch it. Bye. And I look, you know what I noticed in the credits yesterday? Hannah is in the credits for a split, not even a half second. And she's with the other guy that quit. And he's got a full second. But yeah.
That was the other thing that happened at the viewing party. That was interesting.
Did anyone bother to ask Jeff if he would stop going to tally the fucking votes too? You're not going to tally the votes. You're going to get the votes and then tally the votes.
You're going to get, no, what he's doing is tallying them so that he puts them in an order that's dramatic for being, he reorganizes
that
the order.
That is not how it is presented to me. It is presented to me that he is going to tally the votes and bring them and tally the votes.
Well, he's going to tally the votes so he knows what's happening so that he can create good television when he reads them out. He goes and tallies and then he just reads them.
I'm going to make a point for when he goes to, if I ever make it on Survivor and he goes to tally votes. I go, you're not telling about Jeff. No, you're not.
So during the opening credits at the viewing party, it started off where people were like, woo, yeah, for each person that came up. And then people kind of lost steam because it was like one of those things where it was like, well, are we cheering for everyone or only the people that we like? It got to Drew, crickets. And we were like, oh. It got to Sean, like crickets. And we're like, okay, quitter. But it was interesting. I was like, Drew, who's doing really well in the game, got nothing?
He's just unlikable, Beth. Like,
no, I know that, but it was one of those things where it was like, first it was Sean who quit and Hannah who had quit. And then it was like, really? Not even one like, whoa, or anything?
I actually had on my notes, Beth, to ask you, how was it watching the intro sequence on a big screen like that?
Okay, so I've now seen it twice on a big screen, right? The first time I saw it was at the RHAP live event, which was the first episode it came back from. And we were watching at this huge theater and the place went fucking ballistic.
That just so epic.
Plus, every single person minus one had their cousins there, winkety wink, 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 who look a lot like them and have the same mannerisms and blah, blah, blah. They're all in the audience.
Identical.
And that was incredible to see that all together and to celebrate it. This was interesting because in the back of your head while you're watching the episode, you're also like, I'm on camera right now. So how much of this is me being like, yeah, but also being like, how much am I want to be on TV?
That would be me. Yeah. I would be standing up for everyone.
There were people who
such a camera
so
whore.
Clearly were like overacting for things. Like there was somebody in front of me who was like, ah! And I was like, okay.
Well, I was like, oh yeah.
I turned to Maggie at one point and I go, Maggie, at some point, someone's going to say some shit and it's going to be like, and then we're all going to laugh and that the laughter will be like legit. And she was like, I know, I'm waiting for someone to go, oh yeah, like that. And I started laughing because all I thought about to myself was like, if fucking Tyler was here, he'd go, oh
I totally
yeah.
would. I 1000% would. So I guess like, do we want to talk for a few minutes about like the move from like Women's Alliance to like the Reba 4 plus Emily sticking together? Because Beth, you were mentioning that Kelly said like the Women's Alliance like really wasn't a thing. And I think the reason that they showed it on the show was because they really wanted to harp on like Emily just like selling it down the river to Drew. Like when that scene when Emily said to Drew, she's like, all right, so here's the real tea. There's a Women's Alliance, and not only that, here's the boot order. It's going to be Bruce, then Jake, and then Austin, and then you. Like, and there was like this like dramatic like music cue. Like, it was like I was like, damn, Emily, you are really like this is your show. This is Emily's season for real. And like her selling out the Women's Alliance to Drew, just like open this whole episode up, open the whole game up. And like it's just so fun to see this like the Reba 4 with Emily as like this like mold, almost like how Jared was in Big Brother 25. You know what I mean? Like like he was like kind of like playing like both sides, and I feel like the remaining people haven't figured out that Emily's kind of like with them yet. I think I would assume. So it's cool to see Emily like playing this like double agent and selling them out, and I'm really rooting for the Reba 4. Like I would not be upset if it was like a straight up pagonging and like the final 5.
I think it's going to be a pagong for sure. I do. I do think too.
Also, I think I said mold instead of mole, which I apologize for that.
You should. No. I think that what was also interesting was that I think the reason why they put the women's alliance thing in there, like you said, was to show the strengthened relationship between Emily and Drew. But yes. But I also think it would be amazing to see the footage of all of us as I sat between Maggie and Brian Scally, and the three of us were sitting there watching it. And I know the footage is juicy of us being like, don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare. And then this is my exact face, because I would love nothing more to actually see a successful women's alliance. And of course, at this point, we think the women's alliance is like, the way that they're editing it is like a big deal. But this is exactly how I'm pretty sure I reacted. I'm pretty sure I went, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
It was wild. Like that to me is like a turning point of the season. You know what I mean?
It definitely is. It definitely is. But I also think what's interesting is, like, at least from Kelly's perspective, now granted she's the one who got voted out, she was like, it was not even anything. So from an editing, storytelling standpoint, it's the turning point in the season. For a lot of people who played the game, it may have been a drop in the pan of something in the season.
Right. And like it might not have meant anything to Kelly or Kendra or
anybody on Bello.
Anybody. Right. But Emily, like, telling Drew that information meant the world to Drew, and what was really like what united.
Back to what she did with Caleb on the Sabaya vote.
Yes, exactly. So I'm excited to see like where like the Reba 4 plus Emily go after this. We also have to note that now that Kelly and J Maya are out of the game, Austin now has that medallion thingy turned into a full-blown idol. So Austin now has 2 idols, which is terrifying.
And this past episode was when the safety without power that Drew has expired. So I could see a world. So this is me big braining. Okay. These are my theories here.
Ready.
Drew is being edited so well right now that I think it's a red herring. I think that he's the first of the Reba 4 to get voted out, and it's like a dramatic thing that nobody sees coming, because I would not be shocked if Austin gave him an idol normally, right? So there's a part of me that thinks, wow, wouldn't it be crazy if Drew gets voted out and maybe Austin has given him one of those idols, but he doesn't think he needs to because he has good reads and he's actually been doing really well this season. But I could see a world where Emily, maybe something comes up on the other side that would be more enticing for her for some reason, or she starts playing both sides a little bit more aggressively. And he has such trust in her that she's able to blindside and get an idol out of the game. I think Drew is the first of those 4 to go, whereas I know a lot of people who think that Drew is winning the season. So I don't think
that Dee and Julie could get together with Emily and say, like, listen, like, we know that Drew and Austin have like too much power with these advantages. Like, we need to do something about that before the numbers get too small, and then there's nothing we can do about it.
I think that Dee and Julie and Emily are cutthroat, strategic, and savvy enough
together. Yes.
1,000%. That's why I think that Drew will be the first of those 4 to go. I don't see it being Austin. He has too much protection. I don't see it being Julie. She's too under-edited. Like, I feel like when the first of those 4 goes, it's got to be a moment. It can't just be like, oh, and Julie went. You know what I mean?
What is this question? Didn't Emily in the preview bring up voting D to Austin?
I mean, potentially too. I mean, but a lot of the things that we see in the preview are kind of like not
red herrings.
Yeah, they're all red herrings. Yeah, they're like, here's some things, and then you're like, oh my gosh, in the preview it looks like this. And then like the moment that we had all of this stuff about Bruce being annoying and that Kelly wanted Bruce out, Maggie Morgan literally looked over at me and she goes, Bruce ain't going home. He's going to win immunity because they're doing all this stuff. And then, lo and behold, Bruce won immunity. But the whole preview for this week is Bruce is annoying. Bruce needs to go. Bruce is awful. Blah, blah, blah. So, okay, Bruce is winning immunity, right? So I don't know. It's interesting.
You know what the most relatable part of this episode was for me?
What?
And I know one of you was probably thinking this. in the very beginning when the women are all sitting there talking about the women's alliance and all the men are on the beach and they're like, yeah, and I bet they're out there talking about us and blah, 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 blah. And the men are literally talking about tacos and steak and could give a flying flip about all the, and I'm like, this is such an analogy of my life, because I'm like, I know there's a super secret side chat. I know there is. And then there's like, and I know you're talking about me in it. And there's like, nobody is even mentioning.
And meanwhile, it's just Tyler and I talking about Pokemon.
Yeah, that is exactly. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh my God.
We're trying to spare you, Allison.
I'm like, I can so relate to that.
You know what? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, speaking of like Austin talking about food a lot, I get it. Like, if you see, like, look at him at the start of the season compared to now, like, he is really losing a lot of mass and weight. Like, his face is, like, so thin now. It's crazy how much weight Austin's lost. Like,
yeah. I'm going to be honest.
Don't put on a lot of muscle before going on Survivor. It's not the move.
I also want to put out there that this challenge would be inherently awful for fatter people like myself, who don't have muscle mass, who aren't that strong, but then have to go at our starting weight, a percentage of that. I'd be like, excuse me, I, a 235-pound woman.
And women hold their weight more than men do in situations like that too.
Right.
So you would be disadvantaged like even further.
And so I'd be sitting back and I'd be like, okay, so well, let's also pretend like, you know, I'm going now and I wouldn't have trained for whatever stupid reason or whatever. But like the whole point being, like, if you are somebody who is bigger, not because of strength and muscle mass and those kind of things, you're just bigger because you're a bigger person, which admittedly doesn't happen as often. But there have been people who quite in the past 10 season or so have a little bit more, you know, fat and curves on them. That's like inherently a disadvantage to them, right? So like sitting back and being like, which tells, I would put this out there, Jeff wouldn't even need to put that knife out. If they were like, who's sitting out? Hello.
I fucking, thank you for bringing that
so
up. I fucking loved that part of the episode. That was
me too.
Good. Yeah. Like I wish Jeff would lean into that more. Like,
nobody wants to step up. You want to step up now?
Yeah, exactly. Like that was like, you know, let's put the pressure on them. Like, and like just that like anxiety and that like antsy, like what do we do? Like time's running out. Like that was so entertaining and just like incredible. A really good organic moment that wasn't based in these like complicated like advantages or anything like that. I absolutely loved it.
Jeff was a little too comfortable with the knife, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He was like, bam, and I was like, and so then I tweeted about this, but my theory is Jeff cut those fucking eyeballs out of that giant fish himself.
Oh, you know it.
He was like,
don't hold it down. I'll do it. I want it alive. Bring it to me alive.
Oh yeah. But no, I absolutely, I loved it. This is a really well edited episode. Like this is one of my favorite episodes.
I don't remember last week's episode.
Last week's episode was it was the two people went home. Caleb and Sifu went home because they had the two different tribals, and Sifu didn't make jury, but Caleb did.
Yeah.
This whole season's been really good. I think there was one episode where I've been like, meh. But everything else, I've really enjoyed the storytelling, the way the twists have been. They've really relied on the cast. The other thing that I think was really important that Jeff talked about, because when he was answering Brian's question about the themes and such, he was like, you know, we put things into practice and then we try to fine tune them, and sometimes we overcorrect and sometimes we don't go far enough. And there's a balance where we're trying to figure out how much of this is not allowing people to play, how much of this is allowing people to play, how much of this isn't working because we didn't have the right cast, how much of this is working well because we had the right cast. Like he's like, there's a lot of things that we have to like keep in mind. And so when you throw a theme into there, he was like, a lot of people hated Ghost Island as a theme. Oh, things from the past are going to come back to get you or whatever. And Wendell was like, I liked it. And he's like, well, of course Wendell likes it. He fucking won $1 million out of it. But it was-
I call bullshit on them saying that, because Ghost Island as a twist was very cool, very like based on like Survivor history. It was the cast that totally sucked ass. Like they were terrible, like recruity, like floppy McFlop-flops from start to
well,
finish.
And I think that I hated it because they didn't really try to change things up too much with those twists. Like, it's like, here's the idol. Here's something you should do in order to get this idol, that you play it in a different way or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with you that they didn't have a cast who was savvy enough to like take the twist and go with it. But it's also one of those things where it's like, you don't know until you have a cast who's out there playing how they're actually going to do it, right? So that was his whole point, is like, we'd like to think that we have a cast that matches what we're trying to do, but we don't know until they're out there, because sometimes people are exactly what you think they're going to be. Sometimes they're completely different. And like, I think the most famous person who does that is in Philippines. What's his face, who was like really close with Scoop, and he was like 5th out in Philippines, and he was like a nobody. Like, he just was so quiet. And Carter, yes. Carter was like, he did, and like in the reunion, Jeff literally asks him, he's like, so like, Carter, like when we cast you, we were like, this guy is like crazy, he's off the walls, he's a lot of fun. He was like, and you were just kind of chill. And he's like, yeah. And it was like, so they cast somebody who was not at all what they were thinking was going to be when he was on the show. And I'm sure that happens more often than not. And then there's people that are way better than they thought they would be, those kind of things. So I think sometimes he's like, we got to revitalize
the game. You can't get it right all the time. Like,
right.
I get that. But like Libby, like, we got Purple Chelsea that season. Like, Laurel was like so boring.
Is that the first season we covered together?
I think so, yeah. Because we made a meme out of Chelsea not having any
with the eyebrows.
Yes, yeah.
That's okay.
One of these years, I'm gonna, like, when we do our like draft like cast analysis, I'm gonna bring up Chelsea, and I'll be like, Allison, what do you think about her? And I just want Allison to like, oh, she looks like she'll be great on Survivor 47.
She's so good.
All right,
but yeah, so I brought that up just purely as like a, hey, I thought this was kind of an interesting way to, because I think too that a lot of the twists that they've introduced over the past couple of seasons are working better this season. And I also think a testament to that was he found out before they shot the season that they were going to have 90-minute episodes. So they chose to do the auction because they knew they could fit that into a good 90-minute episode. There's a lot of things that the 90-minute episode is helping to flesh out advantage-wise, and also helping to trim down so they have more story to go with it. So I do think that the 90-minute episodes are a testament to production's ability to kind of be like, let's tell a story and also have really good.
It's giving Australian Survivor. What can I say?
All
right, so
yes, of course. 1 second.
Go ahead.
I think I saw it in the chat, and the rumor on the street is Survivor 46 is coming after, the Super Bowl, the end of February 28th or whatever. 2 hours.
2-hour premiere.
But it's temporary, right?
It's a 2-hour premiere, not.
I heard it's gonna be freaking 2 hours until March 11th.
Every episode is gonna be 3 hours long, Allison. It's gonna be the length of a Marvel Infinity War Avengers movie.
That's longer.
So if we're talking, that would be 2 or 3 weeks of 2-hour episodes.
I don't even know what
I think that makes sense. Every single time we start one of these things, what do we want? More story about who the people are. In the very first couple
Don't worry,
of episodes.
Allison. We can go live the next day. I know it's like
Allison, we're not planning to go live after the episode. Just so y'all know.
Just so y'all know. Here's my problem. Okay, I don't upon many. Okay, listen. I don't really care. Oh, here we go. I don't really care that it's 90 gosh damn minutes long. Okay, it can be 90 minutes. It can be 2 hours. I don't care. Survivor's great. I'm there for it. I'm not liking the first. We're dipping our toe in the first 90-minute pool, and I don't like it. It's not no, they're not. I feel like they're not tapping on the right stuff. They're not concentrating on the right stuff. It's too long. Things are getting stretched out. There have been things that they've talked about that I know I've bitched about in the last couple of weeks that I didn't need a segment on. Like, it's just too much. It's just too much. Like, I don't need a 15-minute thing about how annoying somebody is. Okay? I don't need that. And I just really wish they would just, if you're going to make it 90 minutes or 2 hours, put some freaking put some effort into it. Show me some behind the scenes shit. Give me something. Answer some questions for me.
What if we got like a jury segment? A la like Big Brother, like juries. Like that would be fun to like check in with like the crew at Ponderosa every now and then, like with these like 90-minute episodes. Because like
especially since they don't do the Ponderosa videos anymore.
Right? Like I fear with say we have like a pretty boring like final 6, right? Like that's tough to fill an hour and a half with. Like,
I disagree. I 1,000% disagree, because we're thinking in Big Brother terms where we got to wait 6 days live for these people to make the move that we know they're going to do for 6 days. These people have hours that they have in the can that they're trying to trim down to only that amount of time.
That's my problem. I don't like the way, and I'm probably going to get shit for it, and I don't care.
No, it's your opinion.
I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the asshole trolls who's going to hand my ass to me in the chat.
Well, guess what, asshole trolls? She's allowed her opinion. You're allowed yours. Shut the fuck up.
I don't like the way they're editing it. It's not interesting to me. If it's 90 minutes long, and trust me, I'm trying. I'm really trying. Okay. Yeah. And it's just like, I'm like, no, y'all don't have me right now. I really need y'all to edit it better. And plus, I'm starting at 25 minutes late, so I could fast forward through the commercials, so it feels like an hour.
Honestly, the move. That's the move right there.
Well, and I think that that's always going to be the case, right? Like, I love this season. I love the 90-minute episodes. I loved when Drag Race moved to 90-minute episodes, because all of a sudden the things that they had moved away from that were like the cast themselves all of a sudden got put back in, or the mini challenges that they used to have got put back in. And there's things like that we finally get to see that are competing with what producers and such have pushed towards going in a different direction. But that said, there's always going to be people who are like, no, I don't like this because it's not edited the way I like it. I don't think it's a secret that I like covering Big Brother occasionally, but I really don't like it as a show. Like, I think it's a shit game compared to Survivor, because there's no way, if somebody like Jag keeps winning, whatever. Yeah. There's way more variables in Survivor for the gameplay of it. Survivor's harder to play because of the elements of it. Big Brother's harder to win because of the game structure at the end of the day.
They have a perfect opportunity here to really give us some good tea and dig deep. No pun intended, Jeff, and really give us some good shit. And I'm just disappointed. I feel like I could be getting more.
Shitting in the water. I know.
I want to hear about the aqua dumps. I want to know if there's a real porta pot somewhere. I want to know what they're wiping with. I mean, I want deets, all of them. That's what I want. But I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's update our draft here. I just gave Timmy the book so he could see.
Yay!
All right, so let's update our patron draft first. So Liza has lost another, but Liza has Emily and D. So like, all you need.
Liza lost 3 in a row after looking real good. Yeah, but I also think Emily and D are going real far. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then here is our other draft. So Scally lost Kelly tonight. So
his meme did come to an end, and it was very sad.
Yes. Allison, look at this.
Killing it.
This is like ridiculous. If I win this year, it's ridiculous. Like the night we did I was rescuing JoJo, my kitten. The only person I got to pick was Kendra. Like seriously.
You know what's funny is that you complained so much about us.
I complain.
I can't believe my team. Y'all did this on
trying
purpose.
to fuck me over. And I'm like,
Allison has
Bruce, nobody's gonna vote out.
The shittiest order pick every freaking gosh damn time, and it's done on purpose. I know it.
I would argue where Tyler is the shittiest pick, like order. It sucks to be third.
Yeah,
because you never get to do a back to back, and you're always second to last on stuff. Mm-hmm. It's awful.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, as I look at this, like, I think Kendra, Bruce, Drew, Emily, I don't think any of them are going to the finals. Maybe Kendra.
I think Kendra might, like, after, okay, here's the thing. I'm reading in the Edgic. She had a flashback about a can of beer. You know, like, that, like, as sweet of a moment that was, like, it was pretty shoehorned into, like, get some, like, personal content.
She had the beer at the auction, and it reminded her of her meeting her
biological father.
Yeah. So you had the flashback there. I am sticking true to my gut. I think D is winning this season.
I think so too.
So I think Tyler's gonna win. I think Austin and Julie are either finale or right before finale. So I think I think one of the two of them at the very least is getting to the finale. So I think I'm getting there. And then who's on Scally's team? Katurah and Jake.
Can we talk about Jake for a second?
Like, I think Jake's going to the finale.
You think so? Like,
oh yeah.
It was so weird to me that, like, his whole edit is like him, like, having, like, cloudy brain and, like, passing out randomly, and then, like, having it at, like, tribal council too. Like, I just wonder, like, where Jake's, like, story is going, unless he's, like, a losing finalist. That,
I think he's a losing finalist. He had a flashback 2 weeks ago. Okay. Mm-hmm. Where he's talking about or not 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, where he's talking about weight loss and all that kind of stuff. We see him trying to make moves. We see him doing this stuff. I absolutely know that he was acting at tribal council, because he's said this multiple times in preseason interviews that I've now watched, that I haven't watched at the time, where he said, I want to go in there. I'm a theater kid at heart, and I got to act. We have this whole thing of Bruce losing or wanting to get the idol that Katurah can't see, and he acts like, oh fuck, I lost my ring, and like that kind of stuff. Then you go to tribal, and he does the whole, like, if I gotta play my idol. I think the whole brain cloud thing was an act at tribal 1,000%. Now, that said, I don't see him winning the game, but I do see him being brought along as, like, a goat or something towards the end.
Sorry, Allison. What do you?
Didn't he admit that he lied to Julie and said, "Hey, wasn't I believable?" You don't say that to somebody.
What? When? Oh, when he was talking to Julie.
Yeah, and I'm like, you don't ever have somebody.
Well, he was trying to be, like, charismatic with doing it, and I'm not gonna lie. There's a certain part of me that would be like, okay, I see you. Not, like, in a way that I would ever trust, just like Julie says, but there's an aspect there where I'm like, I'd much rather somebody come and say, I did this or whatever. I just think that he's just too. He's trying too hard to not be a part of the crowd when it comes to voting and gameplay. That it's not going to win him votes on the jury. I think that's that's the problem.
Right, I agree with that.
But I think that people like him as a person, and so I could see them saying, "Okay, he's trying to make amends. He's changing, and because of that, he has to play by the rules he doesn't want to, and therefore he doesn't have an individual game move. And it's just a whole bunch of him, Charlie Browning it, unlike Owen, but similar to Owen. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Jake has more agency than Owen did, but Owen just, like, couldn't catch a break. Jake is, like, putting himself in situations where he can't catch a break.
God, I would have voted for Owen in the end of that game. All right. Well, does that... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Allison.
No, just say I have so much respect for these people, because I can't. I would never. I'd be laying on the beach, dead, limpless, lifeless, on my last breath, and they'd be dragging me around to tribal, and I'd be begging, just throw me in the fire, okay? I can't anymore. I just have
You'll
so much
have a good
respect.
dinner.
Yeah, I just can't. Like they purposely wouldn't feed me and wouldn't let me find money just so it's terrible. But these people, I don't care how much I hate somebody who's playing this game, but as long as they're not quitting and they're there, I just really have to respect them for that. Every time I'm watching this show, every week, my brain is just, I can't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. There's just no way. Where would I don't even know. I would try. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wait, I'm just reading your notes. So Edgic thinks D's winning?
Like 100%.
I'm becoming Edgic and I'm loving it. Have you seen my metamorphosis here, Tyler?
I think her winners. I do see the metamorphosis. I approve. But I think her winner's edit is pretty obvious this season. Like it is very
okay. Mister, there's so many people at that event that were like, I think it's Drew. And I'm sitting there and I was like, I think it's D. And I've thought it's D since they did the Big Toe segment.
They really, and I'll tell you what it is. Like they really shield her, her tone of her edit when she's in the wrong, like when she votes wrong. Like the fact that like Katura didn't get like another confessional like in this last episode, except for like talking about Bruce again. But like Dee's like able to like pivot out of like the same situation so well, and so positively, right? Like we're just getting so much like positive like edit and tone from her, and we're always checking in with her when it's like unnecessary. Like when the Reba 4 were like all talking like near the beach with Emily, we got like 4 confessionals of D breaking down the situation in a row. Like we didn't hear from Julie once, like we didn't hear from Austin once. Like Drew was like laying out the plan, so like it makes sense contextually for him to have a confessional, but like it was all D's perspective. So and if D ends up being the winner, like I would be very happy with that. I think she would be a really cool winner to kind of like analyze.
Especially with this group of other winners from the 40s.
Yes, yeah. Like D compared to like Marianne and Jam Jam and Gabler and who won 41? Erica. Yeah. It's interesting.
And Tony. Just kidding.
I love that Chrissy won Survivor 35 and then came back for Winners at War and beat
then won?
Yeah, That's the fan fiction
I do have to say one last thing just because I brought up Tony and it made me think of it. They had a couple different places in front of like the 45 logo that you could take photos, and one of them was like an iPad that put like a little Survivor filter around it.
Yeah.
And all of us RHAP people tried to get in one photo and realized it's a really tight fit to try to get all of us in one photo with just the iPad. And if y'all look at the photos I posted, I think on Twitter and on Instagram, poor Maggie looks like she's in a spy shack because they have like a palm over her face that's like the filter. And so I laughed. So we took 2 photos. The first one where she's completely covered, so it just looks like she's in her spy shack, and then the second one where she's going, hello.
I love that. Maggie deserves better.
She does. Justice for Maggie.
All right, well, we'll be back. Are we doing a show next week for like Thanksgiving?
We should discuss it.
Yeah, we'll chat about it, but
we'll put it online.
Yeah.
If we're
Allison,
gonna do
any other thoughts?
No.
She's tapped out.
Understood.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for letting me speak ad nauseum about what was such a cool event.
No, I love
it was a lot of fun.
During like the experience. It's very, very cool. All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of your night. We'll see you when we see you, and be safe. All that jazz. Bye-bye.